A fraction is a part of a whole. Imagine you have a circular pizza and you want to eat a half, which is written as 1/2, 1 on the top and then a line and then a 2. So this is how you write a half, and you want to eat half of this pizza. 1/2 is so common that you probably know that you should take out a knife and cut this pizza equally into 2 parts and then eat one of those 2 parts. So that's what you call 1/2 of a pizza. Now this number 1/2, this 1 on the top, a line and then a 2, what is this? This is a number and it's called a fraction. In a fraction, the number on the top is the part, is 1 part, out of the number on the bottom, which represents the whole. So the whole is 2 parts. In other words, you cut the whole into 2 equal pieces or 2 equal parts, and you have one of them, the number on the top. Similarly, you have a rectangle. You want to have 1/2 of this rectangle. Either you could do this, or you could do this. And that portion, the shaded region, represents 1/2 of the rectangle because the whole has been cut into 2 equal parts. Remember, equal is important. And then we have picked or we have shaded 1 out of those 2 parts. So this portion is 1/2 of the whole. Let's do one more. We have another circle and we have another rectangle, and this time we want to shade 3 parts out of a total of 4, meaning 3/4 or 3/4 of the whole. So our first job is to cut the whole into 4 equal pieces. Let's go ahead and do that. And this is the best way to do it. Cut a circle into 4 equal pieces. And then we need to shade 3 out of those 4 pieces. You could pick any 3. I'm going to go for this and this and this. So we say 3/4 of this circle is shaded. Similarly for the rectangle, let's cut this into 4 equal pieces, and I'm trying my best to make them look equal, the 4 pieces, and then you're going to shade any 3 of those 4 pieces. I'm going to go for this, this, and this. The shaded portion represents 3/4 of this rectangle. We could also talk about a fraction of a number. For example, 4/5 of 15 means the whole is 15. This is the whole. And that needs to be cut into 5 equal parts. So when you cut 15 into 5 equal parts, that's the same as saying 15 is being divided with 5. And then you put together or you combine 4 of these 5 parts. So you do 15 divided with 5, the answer is 3. And then you put together 4 of those 5 parts. So you do 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, or in other words, you do 3 times 4 and you get 12. So we say 4/5 of 15 is 12. Similarly, when we talk about 3/8 of 24, let's say there's a class of 24 students and 3/8 of them are girls, something like that. So we want to find out how many girls are there in the class. So the total or the whole is 24. Like I said, this is the whole. And then that is divided into 8 equal parts. So 24 divided with 8 is 3. And then you put together or combine 3 of those groups or 3 of those parts. So you do 3 times 3, you get 9, which means 3/8 of 24 is 9, and there are 9 girls in the class and the rest are boys. In a fraction, the number on the top that represents the number of groups you combine or put together is called the numerator. The number on the bottom, or the number of groups the whole is cut into, is called the denominator. And then the line in between them is called the fraction bar. We will try and understand the meaning of this line or the fraction bar. Suppose there are 8 pizzas. And let's assume they're all the same size. So we have 8 pizzas. And there are 4 friends who have ordered these pizzas. So they're having a party. And the question is, how many of these pizzas will each one get? Now obviously, each one is going to get 2 pizzas. So if you name them A, B, C and D, the 4 friends, this is for A, this is for A, this is for B, this is for B, this is for C, this is for C, this is for D, this is for D. So each one gets 2 pizzas. You could also do this in another way. Give the first pizza to A, the second to B, the third to C, the fourth to D, and start again with A, B, C and D. So as we can see, each one of them receives 2 pizzas. So we could write down each gets number of pizzas, the total number of pizzas divided with the number of people who are sharing them. Now imagine another scenario in which there are 3 pizzas, only 3, 1, 2 and 3. And there are 4 friends to share them. So you have A, B, C and D. Let's keep it simple. For whatever reason, they have ordered less, and each one of them cannot even get 1 whole pizza. Because if they had to have 1 whole each, they would have ordered 4 pizzas. They ended up ordering only 3. Let's say the restaurant they went to were running out of stock. They could only offer 3 pizzas. Now what do these guys do? They want to share these 3 pizzas equally amongst themselves. And we know from the previous example that the share for each one gets is equal to the number of pizzas divided with the number of people. Now the number of pizzas in this case is 3 and the number of people sharing is 4. So what is 3 divided with 4? Or in other words, what is 3 as the dividend and 4 as the divisor? 3 is smaller than 4. How can you divide 3 into 4? And that's when you say each one gets 3/4 of a pizza. How? Let's find that out. As there are 4 friends sharing each one of these pizzas, the first thing they do is cut each pizza into 4 equal parts. So it's going to be equal share on each one of the 3 pizzas because there are 3 different flavors. They don't want to miss out in any one of the flavors. So on the first one, this is what A gets, this is what B gets, this is what C gets, and this is what D gets. On the second one, this is what A gets, This is what B gets, this is what C gets, and this is what D gets. On the third one, this is what A gets, this is what B gets, this is what C gets, and this is what D gets. Let's focus our attention on A's share. Let's start with a full circle. And then if you look at A's share on the first pizza, that's one piece out of 4 pieces in all. So that's 1 out of 4 or 1/4 of the whole. So this is what A gets from the first pizza. And it's the same amount, 1/4 of the whole from the second. So this is what A gets from the second pizza. And then it's the same amount on the third, which means this is what A gets from the third pizza. So this is what A gets from all 3 pizzas. This is what A's share is out of the 3 pizzas. And as you can see, this is 3/4 of a pizza. In other words, A gets 3 pizzas divided by 4 people. That's 3/4. And now if you compare this representation of A's share with this or this, you'll probably come to realize the fact that the fraction bar that separates the numerator and the denominator is nothing but a division. So when we say 3/4, it means 3 is being divided with 4. When we say 1/2, it means 1 is being divided with 2. And this can also be written as 1 divided with 2. When the number of pizzas, which is the number on the top of the numerator, is smaller than the number of people sharing them, which is the number on the bottom of the denominator. So when this number is smaller than this number, each one gets less than 1 whole. They couldn't even manage 1 whole pizza for themselves. They had to share. Each one got 3/4 of a whole. So if we can formally write that down, when the numerator is smaller than the denominator, then the fraction numerator over the denominator that gives the share for each one is less than 1. They are not even getting 1 whole. They're getting less than that, each person. On another day, the same 4 friends go out, and this time they order 5 pizzas. So we have A, we have B, we have C, and we have D hanging out together on another day. And then they decide, okay, the other day we couldn't get 1 pizza for ourselves. This time we are going to order more. So 1 pizza for each one would need 4 pizzas in all. They have ordered 1 extra. And we already know that each one's share is going to be the number of pizzas divided by or over, you know the fraction bar means division, over the number of people. So this time each gets 5/4 of a pizza. 5 pizzas, 4 people sharing. Now what's 5/4? Is it a part of a whole? Now as per the definition of a fraction, this means cut the whole pizza, cut each pizza into 4 equal parts and give 5 of those parts to each one. Well, if you only have 4 parts, how are you going to give 5 parts? Where's the 5th piece going to come from? Now, if you apply some common sense and put yourself and 3 of your best buddies in this kind of a situation, you'll probably realize the best way to do this division equally is to give the first pizza to A, the second to B, the third to C, the 4th to D, and then cut the 5th pizza into 4 equal parts. You know where I'm going? This is for A, this is for B, this is for C, and this is for D. And now, as in the previous case, let's focus on A's share. It's going to be the same with B and C and D. So let's just focus on the share of any one of these 4 friends. Let's go for A. A gets 5/4 of a pizza. That means we need to cut the whole pizza into 4 equal pieces. Let's just go ahead and do that. And then A gets 5 of those 4 pieces. So 4 of those 4 pieces gives him the whole pizza. 4 out of 4 is the whole. And then 1 more, that will make it 5. And where's that extra piece going to come from? From here. So this is also for A. That's what you call 5/4. And obviously, that's more than 1 whole. So to put it formally again, if the numerator in a fraction is larger than the denominator, then the fraction that you get by having the numerator over the denominator is going to be larger than 1 whole. Let's go back to the previous scenario. When the numerator is smaller than the denominator, the fraction is less than 1. Remember, a fraction is a number. It's a number on the number line, and then when the number on the top is smaller than the number on the bottom, it's a number that's less than 1. We call these fractions proper fractions. So this is a proper fraction. A fraction in which the numerator is larger than the denominator, like this 5/4, is called an improper fraction. So you have 2 types of fractions, proper and improper. Proper fraction is always less than 1, and improper fraction is always more than 1. So if you have the number line, and let's say we are only concerned at this point about 0 and the numbers to the right of 0. So you have 0, 1, 2 and so on. The number line of course extends on either side of 0. So proper fractions will always be less than 1, between 0 and 1. So a number over here is going to be a proper fraction. A number over here is going to be a proper fraction. These are all proper fractions. On the other hand, an improper fraction is always going to be more than 1. So this, and anything beyond are all improper fractions. Now let's look at A's share and think about it in a different way. As we can see, A gets 1 whole of a pizza and then another 1/4 or 1/4 of the whole. So then this 5/4, another way to write that is 1 whole and plus 1/4 of a whole. And another way to write this is 1, a big 1 to represent the whole, followed by the fraction 1/4. And this number out here is called a mixed number, or sometimes a mixed fraction. Mixed because it contains a whole as well as a fraction. So every improper fraction like 5/4 can be converted to a mixed number. 5/4 and 1/4 are the same numbers. They're just 2 representations of the same number. They mean the same thing. Here's another example. Let's say we have a square and we want to shade 3 seconds of this square. 3 seconds is an improper fraction because the number at the top, the numerator, is larger than the denominator. And obviously you would expect this number to be more than 1, as we shall see right now. So our first job is to cut the square into 2 equal pieces because we have a 2 in the denominator. So here you go, 2 equal pieces. And then the numerator tells us, please shade 3 of those 2 pieces. Well, I only have 2 pieces, so this is the best I could do on this square. I could shade both these pieces. Okay, that's 2 out of 2. But where does the third piece come from? And you guessed it right, it comes from another square of the same size. and you cut this into 2 equal parts, which means all 4 pieces are the same size. And now if you shade any one of these 2 pieces, let's go for this one. We have 3 seconds of this square shaded. 1, 2, 3. But then this is also equal to one whole square and another half. So we could say the fraction 3 seconds is exactly the same as the mixed number 1 and 1/2. And like I said, every improper fraction can be changed to a mixed number. Can we go the other way? For example, can we change the mixed number 2 and 5/8? That is 2 wholes and 5/8 of a whole to an improper fraction. And to be able to do that, let's first draw a picture of 2 and 5/8. So it's 2 wholes, 1 whole, 2 wholes, and then 5/8 from the third. So it's a number that's larger than 2 but smaller than 3. So if you were to plot this number 2 and 5/8 on the number, you have 0, you have 1, you have 2, you have 3, and so on. 2 and 5/8 will be somewhere between 2 and 3. Larger than 2 but less than 3. Okay. Now let's do the 5/8 first on the third circle. Let's cut the whole into 8 equal pieces. I'm going to go for 4 first and then cut them each through their middle. So I have 8. You can count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I shade any 5 of these 8, let me go for this, 3, 4, and let's say 5. I have 5/8. Now how about these 2 wholes? The question is, how many 8s are there in this one and in this one? So you want to think in terms of 8s, the denominator. So if you cut this one into 8 equal pieces, and this one into 8 equal pieces, we need this whole and this whole. Now the whole means what? All 8 pieces. So it's like saying 8 out of 8. So we have 8 pieces from here, another 8 pieces from here, and 5 pieces from here. So in all we have 8 plus 8 plus 5, which is 21 pieces. And each piece is an eighth of the whole. So we could say we have 21 eighths. And therefore, 2 and 5/8, 2 wholes and 5/8 is the same as 21 eighths. 21 over 8. So a mixed number can also be changed to a fraction, and that fraction will always be an improper fraction, meaning a top-heavy fraction in which the numerator will be larger than the denominator. The good thing is you don't always need to draw pictures of circles and squares and rectangles or whatever model you want to use whenever you want to change a mixed number to an improper fraction or an improper fraction to a mixed number. You could just use some simple maths to do the conversion. This is how. To change a mixed number to an improper fraction, multiply the denominator of the fraction with the whole number. So you do 2 times 8, you get 16. That's this 8 and this 8 taken together. And then you want to add the 5 pieces from the third circle or pizza. So that makes it 2 times 8 plus 5. That's 21 on the top. So that gives you the numerator of the improper fraction, and the denominator is just the same. Similarly, to turn the fraction 4 and 2/3 to an improper fraction, multiply 4 with 3, you get a 12, add the 2, 12 plus 2 is 14, you have 14 on the top and 3 on the bottom, so it's 14/3. and 1/2 is equal to 1 times 2, that's 2, plus 1, that's 3. So you have 3/2 or 3/2. And that's exactly what we got over here, using a picture, of course. And then how do you go the other way? That is, change an improper fraction to a mixed number. Imagine you have the improper fraction 5/3 and you want to change this to a mixed number. Divide the numerator with the denominator. Keep in mind that the fraction bar is nothing but a division. So what's 5 divided by 3? What's the quotient? What's the remainder? Well, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. That's over 5. Therefore, the quotient is 1 and 3 times 1 is 3. The remainder is 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. So we have 1 whole. The remainder is 2. That forms the numerator of the fraction and the denominator stays the same. So 5/3 is the same as 1 2/3. Once again, the whole number is the quotient to the division, the remainder is the numerator, and the denominator stays the same. A quick check. You want to turn this back to an improper fraction. 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5, so you have a 5 on the top and the 3 is on the bottom. How about trying to change this one, 5/4? Well, 5 divided by 4 is 1, so that's 1 whole. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So we have 1 whole. The remainder is 5 minus 4, that's 1. The remainder goes on top. The denominator stays the same. So we have 1 1/4. And of course, to check if you did it right, you could multiply 1 with 4 to get a 4. Add the 1, that's 5. So you have a 5 on the top over the same denominator 4. So that works either way. And this is how you change between improper fractions and mixed numbers.